So we just wrapped that press conference and we saw a very defiant Trump at the podium. You know, there's a lot to unpack from that press conference, but some of the top lines are the president said that he would be signing new orders to impose tariffs to replace some of these tariffs. He talked about using Section 122 to impose a 10% across the board tariff. Also talked about Section 301, which applies to unfair trade practices. I asked the president about whether this meant that he would now be asking Congress to take additional action when it comes to tariffs, and if he'd spoken to Leader Thune about this. I thought it was really interesting. He said, I don't need to. I'm not going to do that because I don't need to. I felt like the top line from the president was, we're still going to have tariffs, but they're just going to look a bit different. And I thought it was interesting. He talked a lot about certainty. He kept repeating the word certainty, saying that for a very long time we were waiting to see how this decision was going to play out, what was going to happen, and we were living in sort of a limbo period, the White House was. And now at least they know what has happened, they have some certainty, and they think that that should inspire some confidence and really sort of now dictates how they're going to move forward with this.
When Trump does move forward, there's a great piece on the Bloomberg terminal right now, the quick take, about just all of Trump's legal options that he has after the Supreme Court said his tariffs are illegal. What will those look like in practice? Are the tariffs that Trump would potentially introduce under, these new laws going to be as expansive as what we had seen last year post-Liberation Day?
There were several reporters in the room who were trying to press for more specifics on what exactly this would look like, what exactly the rates would be. The president kept saying, I can do whatever I want. So we don't have those specifics yet. We are, obviously this has just happened. The White House is still responding to this. We heard a lot of broad top lines from the president today about how he's feeling about it, what he's going to do, but there are still a lot of questions. And he was asked, for example, about the refunds, whether the administration now needs to refund all the billions of dollars in revenue that they've collected from the tariffs. And he said the court didn't weigh in on that. He sounded frustrated that they did not weigh in on that particular part. And so we still don't know. He said that would be playing out in courts. And like a lot of this, I think this is still going, there's still a lot of unresolved questions, and this is still going to be playing out for quite some time.
Kate, looking at Section 301 and 232, 232 is national security reasons for maybe imposing tariffs. 301 seems to give, the Section 301 seems to give the president a lot of leeway to impose tariffs. I mean, it sounds like he still has a lot of levers that he can pull if he deems that it's important for the United States, national security or otherwise.
Absolutely. I think national security has been
all within the laws, I guess what I would say, all within the law.
All within the law, yes. The president has been talking about how tariffs are critical to national security. That's been a key part of his argument. I think we still have to see, how this is going to play out, what he's going to do next. But definitely, I think another part of this is how is this going to affect the trade deals that have already been struck? He talked about that briefly in the press briefing room today, saying that some of them are going to have to be reopened. Some of them are going to have to be renegotiated, but that a lot of them can still stand. He was asked specifically about India. He said India is the same, that will stay the same. But I think there are still a lot of questions about how exactly he's going to use, when it comes to these particular sections that he laid out, how that's going to be implemented in practice.